Mary Berg. My name is Sophia and I'm 11 years old. I love your show. I am such a fan. I love baking too. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Have you ever thought about doing red velvet cake on the show? Bye. XO, your biggest fan. Hi, I'm Sophia. I want to be a baker when I grow up, and I'm your biggest fan, Mary. She seems like a really nice and kind person, and she has really good style. And she's really bubbly, and I love that we have the same hobbies. She reminds me of Taylor Swift. Well, they were born on the same day in the same year, and she just kind of has the same personality. Well, I want to own a small little bakery. It would be pink, and it would have lots of seating, and it would be nice and inviting. I love to bake cakes and cupcakes, and I love to bake cookies because I can make them whenever. And I love to bake bread and macaroons. Well, the eggs have to be room temperature, or else it just kind of comes out from there. And you have to wait an hour before you put it in the oven. You put the egg whites, and then you put sugar, and you blend it, and then you put almond flour and icing sugar. And then you can put food coloring if you want, which I always do. And then you mix it together, and then you pipe it out. But you have to wait an hour before you put it in the oven. They have to rise, and then you bake them. I would like to have a baking show. I would like to bake like Mary, just baking, not really cooking.
And what would the baking show be called?
Let's see, I don't know.
It's okay. We call it the good stuff with Sophia. We'll change it, yeah. Who knows, 10, 20 years from now, it could be the good stuff with Sophia. and then I'll be working for you.
I really like you, and I'm one of your biggest fans.
Honestly, that was so delightful. I have the letter right here, and I will say this is so well folded. It's got a little heart on it, and then when you open it up, the heart continues. Honestly, I remember when I was like 11, I also loved folding things like envelopes. So Sophia, I absolutely love this. So at your special request, I am going to make red velvet cake. Listen, I'm very excited about this, and since this is in honor of Sophia asking me, I'm gonna call this recipe Sophia's red velvet cake. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I love red velvet cake. It's honestly one of the best because it's kind of like a vanilla cake, met a chocolate cake, and kind of sort of had a baby, but it's like delicious and fluffy and wonderful. It's really, really tasty, and it's super simple to put together. So the first thing we wanna do, like with any cake, is we're gonna start with the wet ingredients. Now, unlike something like a vanilla cake where you wanna cream, butter, and sugar together, a red velvet cake is an oil-based cake, which means it's a really easy to make cake. You just dump it all in a bowl and you are good to go. So the first thing I need for the wet ingredients is sugar, which sounds like a dry ingredient, but it's technically a wet ingredient. Don't think about it, it's all good. So 1.5 cups of white sugar is gonna go into my bowl. And this is one of those cakes you do not need a stand mixer for. A whisk, a spoon, that's really all you need, and you are good to go. Now into there, I'm going in with a cup of canola oil. Any sort of vegetable oil works perfectly, just something neutral. So I'm just gonna measure that out and pop that on in. Since we're doing an oil-based cake, it comes out really light and fluffy, more like a chocolate cake. You know, chocolate cake is like so delicious and fluffy and like really kind of moist. That's what this is gonna be like. Now into there, I'm going in with a cup of yogurt. One thing that's kind of a little bit different about red velvet cake is it's a really acidic cake in the actual batter. That's what leads to it being so nice and light and fluffy. So I'm gonna eyeball this, but if you're at home, Sophia, you measure it. But I feel like you're a very good baker, so you could probably also eyeball, but I'm gonna eyeball today. So I want a cup of yogurt. You could also do sour cream, that would work beautifully. And you could do vanilla yogurt if you wanted to. I'm just doing plain because it's a little bit punchier. All right, now into there, I need 2 eggs. So far, very simple. It's almost simpler, oopsie, don't put the egg in there, Mary Berg. Oh, she got shelled, don't worry, don't worry. See, Sophia, it happens to the best of us. We're all in the same boat. All right, pop in a second egg. So already this is kind of similar to making just like a classic, a store-bought boxed cake. Now into there to increase the flavors, I'm gonna go in with some vanilla, so classic. Then we're gonna add in the red, and that we just use some red food coloring. You can use anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons is this whole thing, so I'm just gonna kind of like eyeball it and go right on in. I know, guys. It's red velvet cake though. This is where if you wanted to, you can make it blue velvet cake. You could do whatever, very lynchy, you're good to go. All right, and then we want a little bit more acidity. That yogurt is acidic, but we also want something else because that's gonna react with the baking soda and baking powder. So I'm going in with 2 teaspoons of vinegar. This sounds strange, but white vinegar is the thing that you need to give you that extra little bit of lift. I'm just gonna free pour it. 2 teaspoons, perfect. Guys, I'm really good with measuring teaspoons. When I used to work in an office, I used to play this is very fun sounding. I used to play this fun game called See If You Can Guess How Much This Letter Weighs Before You Put It on the Mail thing. Insurance was really fun for me. All right, do you see this beautiful red color here? That's the color you're looking for. Now, right now this is pink, but we are gonna make this turn a little bit more red with cocoa powder, because there is a little bit of cocoa powder in red velvet cake. You don't really taste it, it just gives the slightest hint of chocolate, but that is looking beautiful so far. But now we're gonna work on the dry ingredients. So I've got a sieve here. You don't necessarily have to use this because there's not a lot of cocoa powder, but I'm gonna do it today. Into there, I need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm gonna measure that right on in. 1, 2, this is where I have to actually count or else I'm gonna lose track. 3, 4, one more. This is the half cup. We're doing math, okay. Perfect. So 2.5 cups of that all-purpose flour goes in. Then we're going in with 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Cocoa powder brings a little bit of flavor, obviously, but it's also, depending on the type you're using, an acidic ingredient. Again, a little bit of acidity helps activate the baking powder and baking soda. So that goes right on in. Then we're going in with 2 teaspoons of baking powder and then that baking soda. Now, since we put that vinegar in there and there's that little bit of yogurt, that is going to make almost like a science volcano. Remember doing those volcanoes when you were a kid? That puffiness with the reaction of the baking soda and vinegar, that's gonna give you a lot of lift, so it's gonna make it a nice light cake. So pop that on in, give that a nice sift. This is the scariest, I hate sifting. I don't know why I'm asking you to do it. You don't have to do it. Sophia, don't do what I'm doing right now. Just do it however you want. Whisk it together and you'll be good to go. Now, if you are sifting, you do see cocoa powder has a little fat in it. So sometimes there's little kind of like balls in the bottom. Just press those through. That just gets all of that through. Looking beautiful. Now I'm gonna season that with a little bit of salt as well. And then all you need to do is pop that dry ingredient right into the wet. And you are good to go. Give that a nice whisk together. And again, you do not need to use a hand mixer. You do not need to use a stand mixer. Just a good old-fashioned whisk and a little bit of elbow grease, and you have got a beautiful batter. Do you see the color getting a little deeper too? A little more like a maroon. As this bakes as well, it does turn a little bit more red, kind of that classic red velvet color. All right, that is looking perfect to me. In that amount of time, I made red velvet cake. What a treat. Perfect. Now, you want to divide this into 2 pans. I've got mine greased and lined with a little round of parchment paper. If you want to be exact, you can use a scale. So, Sophia, if you are opening a bakery, you definitely would want to use a scale here, just to make sure no customer is getting a smaller red velvet cake than the last. That does not make a happy customer, believe me. All right, pop that right on in. Then you want to bake these off at 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes. Perfect. So I'm gonna pop those into my oven, let those go, but can I ask you, audience, if you were having a red velvet cake, what is it about a red velvet cake that we love so much? Is it the cake or is it the cream cheese frosting? It's the cream cheese frosting. Okay, so we're gonna make a really quick cream cheese frosting. Now, when I'm making cream cheese frosting, I kind of make it weird. I do it backwards. What I do first is I whip up 2 cups of cream cheese, and you wanna use brick style cream cheese. So I whip that up plain, I don't add any sugar into that, and I actually add this into the buttercream at the very end. The reason is that cream cheese has about a 55% water content or liquid content, so it tends to turn icing sugar into liquid. It gets really soupy. You know when you're making it and it doesn't pipe and it's just like, ugh, a nightmare? You don't wanna do that. So what I do is I get my 1.5 cups of butter, because this is a cake and you gotta have a lot of butter in a cake. You give that a little bit of a whip and then you start adding in 5 cups of icing sugar, just about a 1/2 cup at a time. Once that 1/2 cup is incorporated, add in the next. You whip that up into a beautiful buttercream, and then once it's nice and beautiful, add in a little bit of vanilla, then you start adding in your cream cheese. Sometimes when you're making cream cheese frosting, once you mix it too much, that cream cheese, the water content in it, makes it so that frosting is really sloppy and it's never gonna firm up. So doing it this way makes sure that it stays nice. You could pipe it if you want. You could use it however you want. Now I'm gonna go grab those cakes. They've been cooling on the back counter just until cooled to room temp. And the main thing is, if you do the round of parchment paper in the bottom of the pan, don't forget to peel it off. I have done that before, and it makes cutting a cake and eating it very hard. So you just want to flip those out, pop that out, and then just peel this off. This is also a very satisfying thing, so I feel like I do that. It's almost like, you know when you get a new phone and you peel off the cover? Ooh, what a delight that is. I was at the Go station the other day, and they had new doors, and they had that blue peel-off stuff. No one had peeled it. I went up and I peeled it off. It was a great day. I was like, what an excellent time. All right, so now I'm just gonna put this cake together. You could decorate this however you would like. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these rounds and pop it onto my plate. Now I am doing it domed side down, so I am doing it kind of upside down because that gives this a flatter surface. This is the bottom of the cake, giving you a flatter surface to decorate. Then you can get a spoon, an offset spatula, really whatever. You can even do it just with your normal spatula. And I'm gonna pop about half of that beautiful cream cheese frosting right on top. Now, if you want to, again, you could pipe this. This cream cheese frosting will hold in a piping bag. So just give that a nice little kind of zhuzh to the outside edge of your cake. If you have a cake pedestal that turns, feel free to use that. We're just going on a plate today. Perfect. Then you get that other cake. And this one you can do either this side up or the other side. I'm gonna stick it with the flat side up just to make sure the top of the cake is nice and flat. Just give it a little bit of a press to make it a sandwich. If you want to, you can ice the sides of the cake. A classic way to decorate a red velvet cake is to actually ice the sides and then use some of the cake crumbs to decorate the outside. Give that nice little texture. But I'm just gonna go on, leave those sides nice and naked so you can see that beautiful red velvet cake. Give that a little bit of a swirl. And then, just in case you're feeling extra fancy, a little birdie told me that Sophia really likes sprinkles. So I'm going on with some sprinkles. I mean, that to me looks like one heck of a surprise cake. It's a total dream, really, really tasty. But you know when you make a cake, you don't usually make a cake just for yourself, am I right? So since today's show is all about feel-good surprises, and since I made this cake for one of my newest fans, Sophia, there's really only one thing left to do.
Thank you so much, Sophia. That was great. Yeah.
Go to your computer, pretend you're doing schoolwork. Get to your homework.
Listen, the idea of bringing a cake I just made to a new friend named Sophia, I'm about to become best friends over this beautiful cake I just made. So excited, let's go meet her. I think I'm just allowed to go in.
Yeah, I'll be right back, Sophia.
Hey, Sophia. Are you excited? Hi. How are you?
Good.
Oh my gosh. It's so nice to meet you.
You too.
Are you having a good day?
Yeah.
My name is Mary Berg.
I know.
Okay, very cool. Can I get a high five? I'm in your house. Oh, what is this? What do you think this might be?
Red velvet.
It's a red velvet cake. And I'm actually calling this recipe Sophia's red velvet cake.
Really?
Yeah. So this is like for you.
Yay.
Are you excited about that? I just made it in the studio. Do you want to share some cake with me?
Yes, please.
I feel like that's what you do when you meet new friends. You share cake, right?
Yes.
Would you like to do the honors? Okay, very cool. Sophia, I like the way you cut a cake.
Yes.
That's a really good slice. And do you like cream cheese frosting?
I love cream cheese
Oh my gosh,
frosting.
it's the best frosting. Wait, do we need forks or are we gonna eat this with our hands? Oh, we're doing the hands. Okay, cool. I'm sure your mom would want you to talk with your mouth closed or whatever, right?
Yes. It was very surprising. It's really cool to have a cake named after me, and I can't wait to eat it again.
Even though we got cake hands, do you want to high five about it?
Sure.
Let's do it. Great. Oh my gosh, Sophia, thank you so much for having me at your house. It was so nice meeting you. And to help you with your excellent baking skills, we got just one more surprise for you. Thanks to our friends at Walmart Canada, you're getting this classic and easy to use Corningware French white 10-piece bakeware set. And studio audience, surprise, because we did not forget about you. You're all going home with this bakeware set too. Perfect for family dinners and special occasions. Enjoy, I'm gonna eat some cake. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.